You know, you need to learn to edit it on this thing because this has got some
I'm familiar with NCH software.
But I paid for this one. That's why I want to make use of it.
Why did we pay for it?
Because it was something that I actually needed when I was working for legal proofs. Because I had to make recordings of things so that people knew how to use.
All right. So this is our second video. First video was a very long time ago. We were talking about
the whole idea of what it is we're going to do to semi-retire. Because we're getting ready to do that. And
at that point, we were getting to the point where we were trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to fix my hat here. There we go. We were working towards its flickering.
Oh, no. Can't have that.
We were working towards getting out of debt, which we accomplished.
Thank you, Jesus. Yes, we are debt-free. We have...
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
No more debt. We don't owe anybody anything.
And we're not going to have any more debt.
We're not going back into debt again.
And that's not for everybody. We get that. Some people do things the way they're going to do things, but
they manage it. For us, we chose to do this thing debt-free.
Yeah, and also because we got to a point where it was difficult for us to obtain a credit card. So we were like, why go through the hoops to try to get a credit card when we don't want to go that way anyway? So we've just cut off all credit. We've frozen our credit in the bureaus. And
they show something like I forget what the phrase is.
Me too.
But it's not a low credit
undeterminable?
Score. Yeah, undeterminable or indeterminable
something
or
like
that. Where it's not a low credit score, it's a no credit score.
Yeah.
And then we froze it.
Yeah.
So so that's what we've been working on, getting our credit scores to be locked and frozen.
And then in order to do the next step, we have to save. And realizing that if we wanted to do this sooner than later, and we definitely want to do this sooner, we're aching to do this sooner. And the whole thing of what we're talking about is we're Our Sojourner's Journey. This is Thomas, I'm Heather, and we're about to do sojourning, which means we're going to go on a journey with wheels. Our home is going to become a home on wheels. So we're using an RV, or we will be using an RV. And although we love Class A's and we see ourselves in a Class A soon, in order to get on the road sooner, we decided, well, and not have to have a tow vehicle as well. We decided, let's have a vehicle that can tow a trailer instead. A smaller trailer, start small, and then we can save up for the next one. So
our first quest was to save up for a vehicle that we can tow a trailer with, and I was searching around. The ball was really in our court because we didn't absolutely need a vehicle right then because we work from home. We're on a major bus line, so it wasn't like, hey, we had to scramble and go out and get a vehicle.
But it was becoming more important recently because we didn't have some of the avenues that we had for getting around when we did have our appointments, and the weather was really nasty this winter, so it was just about the right time.
We had some good friends of ours from church that were very sacrificial, and they would lend us their extra car to maybe go to the chiropractor. There were times where they lent to us so we can go into Canada and visit the grandkids. Who does that? They do that.
So
God they were very sacrificial.
People's hearts.
And then, it was time. So we had gotten out of debt first, so the next step was getting a vehicle. So we searched around and we found one on Marketplace, and I think
He did. I'm not on Facebook anymore.
It's a 2010 Ford Explorer.
4x4.
I think 4-wheel drive. I think it's a XLT. V6, got the tow package, sport utility. It's 2010. It's got 125,000 miles on it. But it's something basic. It gets, if we can get a couple of years out of it, then we're doing good. We got our money out of it. Plus, we paid cash for it. He was
Best
advertising it for $4,500 initially.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had dropped the price to $4,100, and then I asked if I can take a look at it, and there was one contingency, is that he would allow me to take it to a garage to get a pre-purchase inspection.
Yep. And it just so happens that's just down the road from us, literally like a mile away, or a mile point two.
Yeah, a mile. So the guy brought the car to us, brought the Explorer to us, and it was recommended by the same friends who's been very sacrificial in helping us with transportation. And so it's some friends of ours from church, so it's a friend of his. So when I took it there, it was kind of still, there was no biasm because I don't really know the guy, the garage that he owns. And he gave me straight up, this truck's in rough, it's rough shape. And so I had asked him, okay, so what does it take to get it to pass inspection, New York State inspection? New York's pretty, they're a little bit more strict on their inspections than some of the southern states. And so he told me, it needed tie rods and it needed some brake pads. So he told me what the price of that was. So I kind of came down further on the price to the guy, and I said, look, $3,000, because I got to put this much money into it to get inspected, to pass inspection. And he said, well,
$3,300.
How about $3,300? And I said, well, how about $3,150?
Yeah. This is over. This was over like a couple of days. We didn't do it all at once. We slept on it and came back, and then they came. They went and took it away and came back, and that was
good. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to lowball it. So I went $3,000. The worst you could say is no, and hey, we're not out anything because we still work from home, and we'll get by.
Just look for another one.
And look for another one. But he said, how about 33? And then I'm thinking, well, how about 3150? So got it for 3150. Put some money into it. I think it was 1,400. The KBB Blue Book resale private, it values anywhere from about $3,750 to maybe $5,000, depending upon the condition of the car. So we're right about what the value is of the vehicle, and if we can get a couple of years out of it, I think we're doing good. And so we paid for it in cash, and no bank.
So now we have
no bank can take it from us.
A vehicle called Journey.
We're going to call our car Journey.
Yeah.
Travel trailer is going to be called Sojourner.
So our next step now, of course, is to save for the travel trailer, and that's happening as we speak.
Yeah. So it's save cash, stack cash. I was trying to think of what the phrase was. Stack cash. It's stack cash. We have no bills.
Yeah. Well, so, we just have our...
we have no debt.
Yeah, no debt, so we're just paying for the four walls.
The four walls, and the apartment we live in is all utilities included, so we don't have the electric bill and all that. So, and we're allowed, although we're hourly, we're allowed overtime.
Yes.
So as much hours as overtime as we can put in that is mentally healthy.
Yeah.
There are times where your brain just
shuts down.
Your brain just shuts down, and it's just like overexerting physically. So as much overtime as we can put in. Right now, there's no
cap at the moment. We're in slightly different apartments now. We were in the very exact same, but I moved over to another apartment, more of like a lateral move. He still has uncapped overtime, and I think he'll have that right until we're done. And we need to be out of here by the end of the year. And have overtime now, but I don't know if that'll stay.
But we're going to get as much until they take it away.
Exactly. So 50 hours a week approximately for me, and up to 53 to 55 for him. So 48 to 50 for me.
So we're stacking cash for a travel trailer.
Yep.
Look for something that the Explorer can tow. And so our main idea is 3 to 6 months of emergency income. So what would it cost us to live in four walls? Now, we don't want that to always be our budget, but if push comes to shove, four walls, what's it going to take for, gas, vehicle maintenance, that sort of thing to live for the time until we get south and get established and looking for a gate guarding job. So 3 to 6 months on that, and some extra money for vehicle emergency. What happens if a tire blows out on the way down? That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So just some extra cash on top of that, and that's what we're working towards. We trust God.
Yep.
To provide.
Yes.
But yet at the same time, we don't want to presume. We don't want to just
we're just
grab a truck and a travel trailer
and
just go down. Hey, God's
yeah.
going to make sure that we don't blow a tire.
No.
We don't live like that. That's presumption.
And we are getting used. It's a used car.
Yeah,
it's going to be a used
travel trailer.
And actually, when we do get the
pay cash
Class
for
A,
it,
it'll be used too.
We're going to pay cash for the travel trailer and something to live out of. We have our stipulations. No wet bath. That sort of thing. And it's got to be self-contained. Obviously, got to have the black, gray freshwater tanks.
Yeah.
And the minimum medium-sized fridge, no short apartment fridge. The stove, something that we can live in.
Yeah.
And if we can get a couple of years out of that, I think we'll be doing good.
And we'll have stacked the cash for our next year. And we take this is what's nice about this is it lends us to being. First of all, it lends us to allow us to get on the road sooner. And since we have a timeline, because we're not renewing our lease here, so we have to be out of here by end of the year. Then we have it gives us a window, and then we know the amount of money that we can save in that time. So we also know what price range we're looking for the vehicle. Oh, and I'm looking forward to taking videos and pictures. We have. Although they're free tickets, we took tickets for the RV show in April.
Yeah.
And not because we're looking for buying one in April.
Yeah, it just kind of gives us ideas and
things that we know that we definitely don't want.
And I doubt any of them is going to be in our price range. They're going to be higher.
Yeah.
But it gives us things to look at. It gives us ideas. It allows us to visually see the size of things.
Yeah.
Rather than, we've been planning this for about a year now. So it's not like we're just going to go out there and at random buy a travel trailer.
Yeah.
We
have some ideas of what we want to do.
Playing it through in our mind, but going to a show, at least it allows us to visually see the depth and the length and the height of trailers and envisioning what could we do if something was short, But we've gone from anywhere from small apartments to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house to back to small apartments and studio apartments, and so we're living in a studio now.
Lived in a room before.
We're working on purging ourselves down, so we can, in theory, do anything for a couple of years. You can do if you really need to, and you really wanted to, you could live in a 21-foot, 19-foot, 21-foot travel trailer for a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Now a lot of people have big houses and they have a lot of stuff, so they would say, in their mind has always been big. So in their mind they would say, hey, I can't do that, but I don't know what that beeping is.
I don't either.
It's not us. So in their mind, how can you live in a 19-foot travel? How can you live in a 21-foot travel trailer? But we can do it. And it's not our request to always be that small. It's just, what does it take? Here's a phrase that I hear a lot that we're going to use. What must be true in order for us to move south?
Yep.
What are our rock bottom needs in order to move south?
Yes.
What's our rock bottom budget in order to move south for a couple of years?
And sustain ourselves.
We're not getting an apartment down there.
No.
We're not buying a house down there yet. No, we're not buying a house down there.
We're not buying houses.
We're going to go FullTimeRVLiving.
Yeah.
We're not buying property down there yet.
That will come.
That's something we're going to save for.
Later.
But right now, what must be true? we've decided we want to go into full-time RV living. So the question is, what must be true in order to do that? And so, 19 foot minimum, that's where we're bumping into each other. 21 foot,
23.
23, and then it also depends, what
the weight. Some of them are heavier, even though
the
they're
weight.
smaller.
We have a limitation. I don't think our truck can go anything over 7,000
no, I wouldn't
gross
do it.
vehicle. But yet that's, you never want to go max at that. You want to leave yourselves a buffer
Lots
room.
of room, yeah.
And so 19 to about 21 foot is about the range, 21 to 23.
Yeah.
So we're looking at travel trailers like that, paying cash for it, and then moving south.
Yeah.
And jobs.
Jobs will be whatever it takes. No, I mean that was all part of looking into this. Knowing that we're not waiting until we've got this big, beautiful, full retirement package. That ain't gonna. It's for us. It's not gonna happen because of what's happened in our life and how we've split work and stopped. And we were missionaries for 5 years. It kind of threw that trajectory. And I don't have that kind of energy for a corporate life to take that kind of time.
I think we're kind of done with it.
And we've learned to live below our means, and we don't need a lot. So we're going towards the minimalist. I'm not going to say we're totally minimalistic because we're not, but we are definitely going a lot less, and we need a lot less to survive and to thrive. So that means we can work camp. We're going to try and see the different things that we enjoy doing, and we're not closed to things. Although I must say, I really don't want to clean toilets. I've done it. It's not like I can't do it.
You can do anything for a short period.
So I'm not going to say, if that's the only one work camper that was available at the time, work camping job at the time, then I wouldn't take it. That's not true. We already know how we're going to be doing that. We already know we're going to be putting our resumes out for work camping, but we're really aiming to stack cash quickly in the beginning so that we have buffers. And in order to do that, the best way we're seeing is we will gate guard. We're going to put ourselves out there for gate guarding and domicile from Texas, which is where we used to live, and so that's going to be what we're predominantly going to do. And you know what? We're going to do it for as many months at a time. This first time is going to be probably pretty long.
We got to establish a routine.
Yeah.
We got to figure out what does it take to do gate guarding and live off gate guarding or
and
whatever it is.
build up our coffers. So we're probably looking like a good 6 months for the first job.
Yeah.
We're also not close to doing the beet harvest.
Yeah.
Although that one's going to be pretty physical, so we'd rather have some time doing a lot of standing and being on our feet and working around the camper and doing all the things that need to be doing, get ourselves back. Here's the problem. We've been sitting. We've been sitting a lot, and we've been sitting for a long time. And
a lot of hours. And
we just need to get moving first.
Yeah. I think what I like, so this, a few of the jobs are work camping. That's where an RV park might say, hey, look, if you, we need somebody to take care of the office and we need somebody to do maintenance. Around. And what we'll do is we'll give you a place to park your trailer. You can get full hookups, and we're going to, a lot of times it's like, hey, we're going to give you a minimum wage and you got to put in 32 hours.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, you think, okay, 32 hours at minimum wage, that's not really a job when, we're both 60 and we're working towards this kind of whole different lifestyle. We're leaving the careers world that, we both work for FedEx, and we're leaving that and going, and so when you look at that and you say, well, 32 hours and you're getting paid per time, that's not really that much money. But then when you also take into consideration, we hardly have any overhead because we're not paying rent. They're giving us full hookups, which means they pay for the electricity.
We're not going to have an RV payment, and we don't have a car payment.
No car payment, no RV, no trailer payment, or anything like that. They're letting us stay in the slot for free.
Yep. They're
giving us electricity. They're giving us water. So there's really no rent, and we have no debt. So it's not like we have to have $100,000 a year to live.
Exactly.
So we could, in theory, do 32 hours, minimum wage, get all this free, and still have an extra buffer room of cash at the end of the month.
Yes.
We could do that.
Yep.
So you got work camping like that. You've got gate guarding. One of the things that attracted us to gate guarding was that it's not physical. The good thing about gate guarding,
it's a lot of standing.
well, it's a lot of standing, but it's not, hey, I got to clean toilets, or hey, I got to mow the lawn, or gate guarding is usually at like either oil fields or frack fields, or fields like that down in Texas, Arizona, that sort of thing. And basically what you do for the most part, for most of them, is you're going to park your trailer at the gate at the oil field. And you live there. They provide the electricity. They provide the dump for your gray and black. They provide the water. It's 24/7. Most of them are 24/7. They have different versions, but for the most part, you think of it as 24/7. We cannot leave the gate. But what it means,
we both can't leave the gate.
Right. But what it means is I work 12 hours, you work 12 hours, and then if somebody has to go into town to pick up groceries or whatever, it's whoever's not working. Mm-hmm. They would run into town and then come back with whatever. But somebody has to be at the gate. You're not working. You're not doing anything on the oil rig. You're not. You're not weeding. You're not picking up rocks. You're not doing any type of custodial work. All you have to do is check vehicles in and check vehicles out. Some of them are very busy and they pay the higher amount. Some of them are not so busy and they pay a lower amount. But again, what must be true, we're not paying for the RV, we're not paying for the car, we're not paying for the electricity, we're not paying for the water. There's hardly any labor except for checking a vehicle in and out and being there. Somebody's got to be there.
You got to go in and out, just in and out, just in and out, in and
out. And so that's an easy way. And most of the work camping jobs are usually seasonal.
I
but
do want to add
some of the gate guarding jobs. Hold on. Some of the gate guarding jobs. You got some that'll go a few weeks, and they say, okay, this oil field's closing down. Hey, I got another oil field. Can you go over there?
Yeah.
And so we'll go over to another oil field, and we'll just continue.
Right.
And like I said, depending upon how busy they are and what type of shift they're requiring, some will pay more, some will pay less. But it's an easy way to stack cash. And so you got that, and you got the beet harvest. What I think was interesting about the beet harvest, although it's very physical,
short period,
is that it's 2 weeks.
Generally.
That's it. Generally, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can do anything for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's another one we're going to do. Of course, we're saying these things, and you're going, well, anybody can do this, anybody can do this. But not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah. You want to live out of a travel trailer?
Yeah. People don't want to live in a small space. People don't want to move. They want to, we have to have people to stay in houses that live in sticks and bricks, they're called, and that's great. And then there's also the fact that not everybody wants to work in... The conditions aren't always nice. I mean, we're saying that this is fairly easy physically, but the fact of the matter is Texas is extremely dusty and windy, and it can have some really crazy weather. So it's going to have its... We're saying this not to say that everything's all roses and beautiful and all la la, but we're saying that we're not afraid of doing the work, and we're not afraid of suffering through some of the not so great weather and stuff. It's still better than snow up here, is all I can say. In the north, I've had more than enough of that. But we're not averse to trying new things, and that's the beauty of being able to be a work camper and move your home around where you need to be to try these different jobs. And the bonus to all of this is it gives us time. First of all, we know that we need to work. We're not the kind to sit and do nothing. So retirement to us is not sit and do nothing. We're going to be working with community. We want to give of ourselves to other people around us, and we also want to work for our wages, for our food and our covering.
We're kind of looking at just a change of pace.
Yes.
Instead of grinding out the hours all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's been more so since we've been doing this tons of overtime and working from home, and you hardly get out and go anywhere. And, you know, we just want to change a pace.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, falling back to that phrase, what must be true in order for us to leave where we work now, hop in a travel trailer, move south, and live south? And so we have those things that we've got to meet in order to do this, and that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And some people might ask, well, how do you domicile? How do you become
That's
a
another video.
Texas resident? And just real quickly, we can do that in another video, but real quickly, there are 3 states that allow that: South Dakota, Texas, and Florida. And the
I think there's a little bit more, but those are the easier ones.
The attractive thing about Texas is there's no state income tax.
And we've lived there.
And we live there. I think that's what we would call our home state.
Our favorite.
But so that's kind of where we're at, and that's what our next step is. So it's the end of March right now.
Yeah.
We've got 1 more week, and then we move into April. We got 9 months maximum
to get out,
to get a travel trailer. We're trusting God. We're pumping out the hours. We're doing our part.
Yes.
And trusting God with the rest.
Budget.
Yeah,
hey, we're doing this by a budget. It has to be by a budget because
every dollar has a name.
Yes. Yes, we're sounding like Dave Ramsey because that's how we got out of debt. Following those steps work.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, and we're not doing videos to become content creators.
Yeah, we're not going to do.
I can't even imagine.
We'll share. Because we don't want people saying, "Okay, where's your next week's video?"
No, please no.
You know, how come your video is not professional? How come you're not dancing around?
Or wait, how come you're not reading like a script that's all this is going to be bumble around. Of course, we're going to do some editing. Yeah. You know, take out things that we don't need. I don't want to get videos past 3. Like, who wants to sit through this long video?
Especially just talking.
Yes.
We'll get to the point where we'll be showing stuff that we're doing.
Oh yeah, because we're fiddlers.
But basically, we're going to get to the point where we're just being real.
We're just sharing.
We're a couple who used to be in debt, and at the age of, in our late 50s, at the age of 59, we decided we can't do this anymore. We can't be making our money, our income, and still be in debt, and we want a change of pace. So what do we have to do to get out of debt and to move into this next change of pace that we want to do? And so we're just want to say it's never too late. You can do it. The question is, how bad do you want it?
Yep.
That's where the ball's in your court. If you're tired of being in debt, or if you want to change a pace, how bad do you want it? You got to plan it. You've got to budget it, and you can't take it with you. So our quest was to get out of debt. That's step 1. We got out of debt. Step 2 was to get a car. We got that. Yep. Step 3 is to get a travel trailer, which is what we're working on. We're looking towards maybe the end of June, beginning of July. We can get a travel trailer. We can park it up at a trailer storage place up here in the Buffalo area until the end of the year, and that'll help us slowly look at, okay, what needs to be fixed on this travel trailer. That also helps us moving stuff in slowly. We're not going to wait till the last minute to buy the travel trailer, because then we're like, scrambling. Oh no, we got to have one, and then we're more apt to buy something that we didn't want to buy.
Yep.
Whereas the ball's in our court, we buy it a little bit early, and we can park it, pay $30, $50 a month to park it.
If weather turns really nasty here,
we can always leave early.
We leave early, or we take it down to some family.
Take it to family in the south and park it there
until we can leave,
and not tell them, just all of a sudden parking on their property.
No, I just been reading. Hook Hub has been teaching me that you actually have to check, because there's rules about. Yeah, that's a whole other
anyway,
stuff.
I know.
We're done.
Some of my family who they probably don't live in those areas where they have a lot of rules.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're done.
But so we just want to be real. You can do it. We're doing it, and this is it. We're trusting God. We put our prayers forward.
Plan our steps. He directs it.
We want to do this in ministry. We want to be able to reach other couples, and whether marriage or whether finances or life. And that'll be another video. We just came back from a marriage conference. That'll be another video that we talk about that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But after 22 years, one of the things that's interesting in getting to this point after 22 years and being this age is now we realize how much we were hungry for it.
Yeah.
We got to that point where we were really hungry to do this, and then that made us ask that really important question: what do we have to do to do it?
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So pray for us.
Our Sojourner's Journey.
Our Sojourner's Journey. I think what's cool about, we were trying to think of something to call it again. We're not content creators. We don't want to be content creators.
It's more like what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. I think the cool thing about the word sojourner is a sojourner is people who are traveling that are not part of where they're at. So being Christians, our faith is number one. Our faith is most important to us. God is number one in our lives, and we're not of this world.
No.
Being 60, we've only got so much time left.
Mm-hmm. That was the other reason to hurry up and get out.
Who are we going to impact in these final years of our life?
Yeah.
If we can speak in the lives of some people, marriage, finances,
even our family, if they'll watch.
Family, if we could somehow show them some freedom, and she has her story, I have my story, even before we met. That can impact people, and we want to be able to do that. It's very difficult right now with us grinding out the hours, and so this little bit of freedom, this whole new thing that we're going into, and we're not part of this world, and we want to leave a legacy, not a heritage. That's one thing that we learned.
Yeah, the legacy is into other people.
Yeah, legacy is what we leave. So what could we leave in the life of somebody else, that when we finally stand before the throne, somebody else has got it, and then they're able to go reach somebody.
Yep.
That's legacy. That's legacy. So that's kind of what we're moving into. Our Sojourner's Journey was what we chose, and Journey's the name of our car. Obviously, if we get a couple of years out of the car and we get another car, then it's going to be Journey 2. Journey 3.
And Sojourners 2.
Yeah, our travel trailer Sojourner 1. Then the next travel trailer Sojourner 2. And that's more just the moniker that we're giving it, where it's not like we're going to put a big decals on it.
Oh, gosh, no.
Like I said, we're not content creators. We're just telling you where we're at, where our life is at, where we're going with our life. And this may not be for everybody, but if you get anything out of it, if you feel stuck where you're at, there is freedom. Yes. And we can't avoid the number one step in freedom is your walk with God.
Amen.
That's the number one step. And in doing that, He gives you peace. Yes. What's that? Shotcut. Anyway, we talked your ear off.
Later.
I'm going to be uploading this. You see Barbados. Oh, Barbados. That's the Barbados flag. So yesterday was 22 years we were married.
Yep, and there's the wedding picture.
And that's the wedding picture. So we were missionaries. So we met in Barbados.
Yes.
I was down there as a staff member with Teen Challenge in Barbados. I used to be in Teen Challenge myself, recovery. It's a faith-based recovery program for people with life-controlling issues. Did my Teen Challenge in Florida, in Tarpon Springs and Sanford, and then went down. When I completed the program, I went to Teen Challenge in Barbados, and I was on staff down there. That time, you from Canada went down and were with Youth with a Mission, and then we met at church down there, the Living Room Church, Barbados. If you're ever in Barbados, look up the Living Room Church. So that's where we met at church down there. And then after I finished a year and a half on staff at Teen Challenge in Barbados, I joined Youth with a Mission. And
that's another story.
That's another story. But anyway, it was kind of leading up to the picture. So we got married in Barbados. Barbados is our second home. We both lived there for about 5 years as missionaries. So Barbados is our home. So I'm trying to get out of the way. So the Barbados flag, and that's our Barbados. That's our wedding picture from Barbados. So yesterday was 22 years, as Chuck Woolery would say.
And we didn't spend money on that wedding.
What was that? Forgot what show it was. He said 2 and 2.
2?
So 22 years yesterday.
On the 22nd?
On the 22nd.
That was our special.
That's another video. why I chose the 22nd.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But here's
later
to another 22 years.
Peace out.
Thank you.